Harsh Rajat is the founder of Push Protocol, a leading figure in the world of decentralized messaging. Push Protocol is a messaging protocol that uses the power of decentralized networks to create secure, private, and efficient communications between dApps and Web3 users. In our conversation, we dive into Harsh's background, the founding story of Push, their business model, the intersection of Web3 and AI, challenges in Web3 UX, and much more. We begin our conversation with an introduction of Push from Harsh.
Push protocol is essentially a decentralized communication protocol, which essentially means that it can handle all sort of communication, whether it's notification, whether it's messaging, whether it's video calling, streaming, or anything based around notification. When I say decentralized protocol or communication protocol, I mean using push protocol, any dApp, any smart contract, any protocol, any backend, even any Web2 service can send communication, including on-chain or off-chain notifications or chat or any other sort of communication, which are now tied directly to their wallet address. And this is done in a secure and encrypted way. Because this is an open network, is still secure and encrypted. Because of that, now your wallet and your communication, they are tied together, which means that any crypto wallet or any dApp can now tap into this network and can show all the communications, all the notifications, all the chats, all the other form of communication that will come out in the future, right at your favorite crypto wallet or at your favorite crypto dApp. So yeah, that's in essence what Push Protocol is. We started back in 2020. We invented notifications for Web3 because at that point of time, everyone was going for speed and scalability. And what we saw was that once you achieve speed and scalability, you have more innovations coming in. And even in 2020, a lot of DeFi protocols, they were getting liquidated and people were like, we need to be alerted. So we kind of figured this space out that Web3 usernames are wallet address. And by that extension, any communication should be tied to them. It should not be on Telegram or Twitter. Because, when we are talking on a specific platform, we basically talk through that specific platform username. For example, Twitter DMs, Twitter username, Telegram usernames. With that extension, we knew that Web3 wallet addresses, which interact with the protocol, are Web3 usernames, and therefore you needed communication to be tied over there. And yeah, that in a gist, that's Push Protocol. From 2020 to now, we launched two products, Push Notifications. And once notifications was battle tested, then we launched Push Chat. Idea was that once you know notifications are working, then you can build WhatsApp, which is a messaging thing, but relies heavily on notifications. So that was the idea. So that's why we launched Push Chat after notifications or with inbuilt Web3 native notifications. And yeah, from then to now, we have sent over 30 million notifications to over 80,000 Web3 users or subscribers. And Push essentially powers notifications and communications for some of the coolest protocols, including Uniswap, Lens, Gitcoin, Polygon, Aave, Decentralized, DYDX, and so much more. And yeah, we are live on Ethereum, Polygon, and Binance. Yeah, that was not a very short description.
No, it's perfect. So just to take us a step back, I think just for listeners to get an idea of why it's important to have notifications and chat linked to blockchain wallets and addresses. I think kind of we are used to having this line of communications with the applications and services that we use, which is basically email, right? When we use any product or service, we give away our email. And so if there's any update from the product, any, launch or release or recall, like anything important happening, we get notified usually on our email, sometimes through text, but there's usually some channel that links our user person to a way that we can get in touch with that service. But the problem with Web3 is that we are interacting in a way that's it's disintermediated, right? So we don't have to give away that personal information. We are interacting with DeFi protocols with having our blockchain address interact directly with smart contracts. We're not giving away emails and phone numbers. And that's what's exciting about Web3, but it makes it hard for DeFi protocols to communicate with their users. So this is having just like Web3 native messaging through wallets solves that issue.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got it exactly right. Just to add on to this, like, we have dApps. And dApps, if you compare it in Web2 analogy, they are applications of Web3, right? And leave alone like even emails for important updates or product recalls. Any application that we use in Web2, right? When we get up in the morning, the first thing that we do is we look at our phone and we see all the notifications from all the apps that we use, whether it's important work related stuff through Slack, whether it's that your tweet is going viral through Twitter, whether it's any bank alerting you that something is happening, or any art auction occurring, or any gaming that we are doing. All of those things, they don't expect the user to go back to the app, right? They basically say that, hey, this might be important for you. Your loan might be getting liquidated, or your mortgage is about to be expired, or your tweet has got 800 followers or 800 likes, or, your gaming experience needs a refill. And they basically say, or even your Amazon item is getting delivered or someone has sent you a payment. All of those things, they basically happen from the app to the user. And they basically recall the user saying that if you want, you can take an action on it. Even when we go to the messaging part, which is the social part of the entire experience, we are not on WhatsApp all the time or on Telegram. But what happens is, like, if I message a friend or a friend messages me, I get a notification through WhatsApp that, hey, something of importance has occurred. And all of these apps in Web2, they basically have their own notification module and their own messaging module, which they build because it's a Web2. So application controls all the data. Now, just take this example and put it in Web3. And by that very extension, if Web3 dApps need to be competing with Web2 apps, they basically need all of these things. They basically need notifications whenever DeFi loan is liquidating. I hope not. Whenever something is upgrading, like a protocol is upgrading, even when we are transferring something from L2 to L1 and a challenge period is there, or a governance proposal comes out, or even in the case of Defiant, because push also powers Defiant notifications for articles. So all of these things, they basically are getting sent to the wallet address, right? And that solves a major problem wherein now protocols can retarget. And after retargeting, what can happen or what happens, or the next basic step is, of course, chat. Because when you are building Web3 social, or when you are doing an NFT marketplace, one of the extreme problems over there is that there is no way to interact with each other. Like, wallets cannot talk, and wallets are basically usernames as well. And that's why messaging and chat becomes important for Web3 as a whole.
So when dApps integrate push notifications, does the end user have to do anything on their end, or will they just receive these notifications on their desktop, or like wherever they are interacting with these dApps?
Yes. So the end user will have to, of course, install a compatible wallet that supports push protocol, or they can install an extension, or they can install a mobile app. Like, all of the solutions are available, or they can even install a compatible dApp or a compatible crypto wallet, and they will be able to see all these notifications by just signing in with their wallet address. It can be both on desktop and mobile. It is not automatic. Like the end user do need to opt into notifications from a protocol, and the end user do need to accept another user chat request. I mean, the reason for that is basically because, at one of those days, I basically didn't turn my privacy setting on Telegram. And the moment, like the next day I woke up, I had thousands of Telegram messages. And I kind of understood that, the user needs to be in control of what protocol they allow to send notifications and what users they want to chat. So it's like the first part is, of course, a user centric step wherein they allow these protocols or they allow these wallets to this send chat or notifications to them. And after that, it's really automatic. Like they just receive it wherever they want it to be.
So if, say, I'm using a MetaMask wallet for Uniswap, then I would have to go to push, like to the push website to allow Uniswap to send me messages through my wallet. Is that right?
Yes. So one of the ways is that the user can go to app.push.org and go to Uniswap channel or the Uniswap protocol and just hit opt-in, which is a free gasless way to sign their consent from their wallet so that we remain permissionless and we remain trustless. Uh, yeah. And once the user do it, they can basically get all the notifications which Uniswap wants to send to them. Other way is because it's a protocol in essence, so they can even do it from any dApp frontend where the functionality is available. So the user doesn't even have to go to our app. In terms of wallet, so I don't think MetaMask wallet supports push yet. So in case they don't have a wallet which is compatible with push protocol yet, they can download push extension or the push mobile app and they can start receiving those notifications or chats.
Which wallets are compatible?
So right now, there are 4 wallets that are building on top of Push or that are integrating on top of Push. I don't think I can say out their names right now. But yeah, Polygon wallet is, by the way, compatible. They are building and we have publicly announced. So that is one. And then there are 3 other wallets as well.
So for now, is the best way to download an extension for your wallet?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have to be logged in? Like, do you have to have your wallet open in front of you in order to see those notifications, or will they be like popping up on my desktop if I have them enabled?
They will be popping up. Otherwise, we go back to the same step, right? You have to go to something to check. So they will pop up just like they pop up on your mobile app. On your mobile screen.
And there's a way to configure it so that you get those notifications on your phone as well?
Yes. Notifications as well as chat.
What other competing or similar protocols in Web3 that also offer notifications and chat?
Sure. I mean, notifications, I don't think anyone offers at a protocol level. Most of the people, they went for a Web 2.5 experience, which means that you connect your wallet to email, which we felt was not something that we wanted to do. We basically wanted to build this out in a Web3 type of way. In chat, I think there is Dialect that is on Solana that is doing those messages. But again, they basically are just doing chat. They're not using the native notification module because they don't have that, which means that the re-engagement might not be possible from their end, or we basically feel that, for the re-engagement to occur the best, you basically need to have chat module and notification module as separate.
And I think Etherscan also had or has a chat function or feature, right?
Yes, but Etherscan is more like a closed thing. So it's not a protocol. Basically, a protocol will mean that any developer can build on top of it. Etherscan is more like Web3 solution, which is more like WhatsApp, let's say, wherein wherein it's a closed system by which you can chat, but it's not an open protocol.
I'd love to learn a bit more about you. Like, what led you to found a push protocol? I know that it was called EPNS before. So yeah, what's your background and what's the founding story behind Push?
I mean, the founding story behind Push is really personal. I'll get to that background. So I have a decade worth of experience in being an entrepreneur. Started from mobile apps and games, uh, and yeah, basically dabbled a lot in communication back then, because when I started, that was the point when Apple basically bought notification to Web2. And then I saw notification and how it improved or drastically changed the life of the users. And then I was there when WhatsApp became a chatting platform from a notification platform, which actually many users don't know about. And I was also there when basically FaceTime calling or WhatsApp video calling became a reality. Started my journey back then. Was lucky to be at the right place at the right time. Then kind of grew bored of doing mobile app development only. So basically went on to exploring different things. That was when I stumbled upon Bitcoin first. Bought Bitcoin at $1,000. A week later, it was $200. So buy high, sell low. That's my strategy. But yeah, that basically enabled me to check more of what is Bitcoin and what is blockchain. And that led me to Ethereum. And then that led me to working for some protocols and finally starting EPNS, Ethereum Push Notification Service, or Push. Why Push or why communication? So essentially two reasons. One, because I saw communication being the single controlling point for everything we do in Web2. And it's so ingrained that we don't really realize that, communication is what drives us to use all the apps. So that was one point. The other point was that basically I was using this DeFi protocol, and one day I get up and everything is liquidated. And I was like, wow, why didn't I get any alerts around it? And that basically became the motivation to find out like what is missing in Web3 and why we are early. And very quickly realized, because of my previous experience, that this Web3, as innovative as it is, right now it doesn't have the communication rails, which led us to basically build notification first, because notification was a primitive on which any other communication can be built. And that basically led us to finally build Push Chat, even build the AI chatbot, and even go and build out something like a FaceTime video. We call it Push Video, which will be coming out very, very soon.
Awesome. Yeah, so really excited to chat more about the AI chatbot that you created. And thanks for that piece of alpha with the video feature that's coming out. That's really cool. Before we get to the AI issue, so you mentioned before you have had 30 million notifications sent on Push, 80,000 subscribers. So I imagine those are users who have opted in to get notifications for more than 450 integrations. So it looks like since 2020, you've had a really good amount of traction. You're seeing kind of users on the protocol, which is great to see. So for other builders out there, what would you say are kind of the important lessons from that you've had in this journey? Like what has been key in driving growth?
Cool. So, I mean, this can be a entire podcast in itself, because I have so many things to share. But I'll try to summarize. So, first of all, like Web3 and the Ethereum ecosystem in its whole is very, very awesome. So I would not say that we got the traction, I would say that we reached out to protocols, like we reached out to Uniswap, we reached out to Aave, we reached out to MakerDAO, and we said that this is what we are planning to build. And will you be able to build this together, or will you provide your input so we can perfect it because it hasn't been built? And they were awesome enough to say yes. And that's how we got the traction. So the first advice, ask for help. Web3 community is really awesome. You can talk to anyone. It doesn't matter. Like when we started, we spoke to Kevin Novaki of Gitcoin. We spoke to Defiant. We spoke to even Dan Finlay and Austin Griffith. And I mean, all of them, they basically helped us out. Like we said that how to raise. And I know that a Web3 founder basically came and spent 2 hours of his time after raising $25 million just to help me out. Like, okay, you cannot basically pitch VCs for 2 hours. That is now how it goes. So that is basically one thing, like ask for help. Not even Web3 leaders or Web3 mentors, a lot of people help out. Like someone gave us our first ENS account. I think validator.eth gave us that, or ENS Fairy actually did that. DeFi that basically came for a 1 hour session, basically to understand and to tell us what is right, what is not. And Tennyson also from Tally basically helped us out. And so many people, like I cannot really count them because everyone basically helped. So yeah, ask for help. That is perfect. Second thing which I think we did right was because we started from a hackathon. Like we started from Hack Money 2020. And it did two things for us. And this is what I speak about. Like the first thing was, when you join a hackathon, no matter how exceptional your idea is, the thing is, you will not know what is going on in this space and how much the space is changing, especially Web3, where, one day is 1 week or 1 month. So that is the thing. So when you join a hackathon, what happens is that you have stewards that are trained to provide you the best knowledge, that are trained to provide you the best tutorials. So automatically, whatever product you are building, you are now using the best tools, and you are doing this kind of like a shared knowledge, or you are extracting this shared knowledge. So that is one advantage that you have when you join a hackathon. The other thing happens, or the other advantage is, because when you join a hackathon, you are also exposed with other Web3 leaders. And that basically becomes a very good rail point once your startup starts to grow, or once your product gets a product market fit. For example, APNS idea, like the reason why we are here, like we first shared it with Stanny, and Stanny was like, yeah, this hasn't been made. So I was very scared at that point of time to say, because I was like, I'm stupid. Maybe it's made and I cannot really find it out. But yeah, he said he might try it out. So that gave us the motivation to build it, right? And then we were judged by Mariano Conti. And funny enough, after 6 months, we were raising, and I reached out to him, and he basically sent this clip where he was judging, and he said, "I remember you guys," and that was so special. And now, we have the honor of calling him a friend as well. So that is something that also happens through hackathon. Like people are there, even judges or Web3 mentors, to see all the cool products, and they will basically then know about your product, and they become the point where then you can ask for help, and they will try to help you out. So join a hackathon. The third thing that we did was, we basically, while we were building, we basically start sharing whatever we were building, no matter how crude it was. It was like I shared a terminal and how notifications are coming. And somehow it got traction. I think it's because of the community it got traction. And because of that, we saw Yanef from the graph basically replying, calling it like the Web3 missing piece of Web3. Dan Finlay replying that, okay, this might be cool, but this Like what you are expecting from a crypto wallet to do in version 0 of VPNs, that might not be possible. Then yeah, so many other people, so many cool people just replied. Kevin replied. So all of that, it will basically give you the uh, rocket boost that you want when you know that you have a cool protocol and when you know that okay, this protocol might be needed. So summarize, as I said, I could do an entire podcast around this. Be shameless in asking questions, share everything with the community, start with a hackathon.
Awesome. This is so helpful, and I think all 3 points really are about community and sharing, and being open about what you're building, asking for help. So the fact that using these strategies helped you really speaks to the ethos of Web3, where being open, asking for help really does yield results. Like people will help you. They'll give good advice. They'll make intros. They'll try your project out. So I think it's really telling that you consider these 3 aspects such an important part of your growth and adoption. Silo Finance protects borrowers from risk with its innovative risk isolation. Unlike traditional lending markets, when you borrow on Silo Finance, you know your risk upfront. Join thousands of users borrowing and lending crypto you cannot find somewhere else. Bonus, they're running an incentive program, so you might earn additional yield while enjoying your peace of mind. On Push itself, what's the business model there? Like, just like bluntly, like how do you make money from this?
Awesome. I mean, Web3 and business model, that is amazing. So, Push has a very interesting business model and it's not activated yet. The idea that we had was that Web2 and Web3, like, there's a huge difference in Web2 and Web3, but there are certain things that Web2 did right. Uh, at least that's what we believe. So, one of the things that we believe Web2 did right was it tried to never charge the user or make sure that the basic facilities are available for the user no matter what. So it basically what we call it as a 80-20 rule. So it basically Web2 relies on this philosophy that 20% of the services will pay for 80% of the rest of the services. So that's the thing that Push also believes in. So the revenue or the business model of Push is essentially to only charge for super premium services, and that too to the protocols when they are sending notifications. So for example, if you have sent over 10 million notifications, then at one point of time Push will enable this fee switch wherein after 10 million notifications you might be asked to pay. And the same thing for chat. Like if you are going to go into a premium Telegram user model wherein you want more features, so at that point of time, you might be required to pay to the protocol itself. Like there is no company, so everything goes to the protocol. And this is what we call as fee pool. We started this fee pool with V2 with a very basic thing that if a protocol wants to send notification, before that it needs to be activated on our protocol. And for that, we are charging 50 push. But other than that, the idea is the same. Like at one point of time, we will start charging at a very premium point, wherein the service is benefiting entirely from Push, or the user is benefiting immensely from Push, and they want extra features. And once that happens, these fees will flow directly into the Push protocol, which we call as a Push protocol fee pool. Now, the token holders of Push, they basically now decide like what part of the fee goes to them and what part of the fee goes to all the crypto wallets that have adopted Push, because in the end Push is a communication protocol, so more wallets adopt, they should also be incentivized to adopt, and they are basically the exit point for any Web3 user, so they should fairly be rewarded for that. And that is where the entire fee pool model encompasses. So yeah, that's in essence is the business model of Push, which I don't think. Which I think we started opening up with V2 of the protocol, but I don't think that a lot of users or 80% of the users will have to worry about.
Okay, so it's not like at some point users will have to pay push to send a chat message or receive notifications. It'll be just a premium service that will be paid.
Yes. Yes and no. So, yes, for most of the user, but let's say a user wants to message Gate something in the future, or they basically say that no one can send me a request unless they pay me in X number of push. Then at that point of time, push will charge like 0.1% of that value. So again, it's like the premium features which the user wants to use and they heavily benefit from that. At that point of time, push will do that. So that chat request thing, it will come out with the newest audit of push.
And right now, you said that there were some fees that were turned on.
Yes, the only fee that is turned on is when a protocol wants to activate themselves on our protocol. So unless you activate yourself on chain on our protocol, you cannot send notifications, even when notifications can be sent off chain. The reason for that is the on chain governance will decide if a protocol is misbehaving and they want to kick it out. So that activation fee is what we turned on. A couple of weeks back.
And how much revenue has that generated for you so far?
Cool. So 450 protocols, we basically charge a very basic fee of 50 push. So it's not about revenue, it's more like a civil production.
The latest news that you've shared is that you have integrated OpenAI or like GPT to push. So how did that happen? Like, how does it work?
Cool. So how does it work? If you're a Web3 user, you can just go to app.push.org/chat/pushai.eth and just start chatting. It's basically a chatbot which has a very witty personality, even a sarcastic personality, just so that you can have fun with it. So go ahead and try it out. It's based on ChatGPT, but it's a Web3 equivalent thing of ChatGPT, along with the personality of a very sarcastic, humoristic person. Why that? Because we thought that the AI needs to be sassy. So one thing was that. The other thing was we thought that if the AI is sassy, people will play more around it. And the vision is that while we start with a very fun model, just to have some fun. And by the way, the AI can paint as well. So in case whoever is listening, if they want to try it out, there's a hidden command which will let AI draw whatever picture you want. So if you get that, just tweet out. All right. So that's the start, but that is not what we are aiming for. Like the start is this, getting people to be accommodated with what AI can solve. But after that, what we are thinking is that this will be such a powerful way to communicate, right? When you are chatting, instead of typing a command, you can now basically tell in push chat itself in the future that you want to swap something out or you want to basically try a yield strategy out. So AI can at least assist you in calculating those things, or at one point of time when payments come to push, it can basically do payments as well by just chatting. So that way the UX becomes a lot better. Not only that, it can basically start reading your personality, like your wallet personality. And then based on that, it can start recommending. So all of the things that we use, we don't realize. But when we are on Spotify, Spotify will never tell us that these are the new albums. Spotify tells us that you will like these albums, like a very specific set. Same with YouTube or Instagram. Like the reason why we are there more is because YouTube algorithm is learning or Instagram algorithm is learning about you and then showing you the things which they feel that you like the most. And that is a huge UX advantage that Web2 has. So that is the vision, like with making or putting AI into push chat. This is something that we'll move forward with. Other than that, it can also be used as a support chatbot, right? So if you are on, let's say, Uniswap in the future, you can just click on that AI chatbot, and you can ask questions. What is Uniswap or how to interact with it? So it's just a small start, but yeah, that's the bigger vision for push AI.
So the idea is that when different dApps integrate with Push, they'll have this kind of outsourced help chatbot with that uses AI in the backend. Is that like one part of it at least?
Yes. Yeah. So one part of it, like in the very near future, whoever is building on top of push chat, they will have access to that module, or they will have access to a way to train that module in their own way. So they can do so many cool things with it. Like you're building your protocol and there's a support chat, and now people go and just chat with you that I want to I want to put my money into something, or I want to buy this NFT. And now the chat can respond that, hey, these are the steps to do it. So instead of user going to a documentation tutorial, it becomes very powerful that the user is just socializing and talking with that bot. So that is one feature, or one of the features that we are planning with the Push AI bot.
And then the other was that you see a feature where the AI will interpret your activity, like your on-chain activity, and recommend other things to do. Like maybe they'll see your buying history on OpenSea or other NFT marketplaces, and maybe they'll recommend an NFT collection that you like, something like that.
Exactly. Exactly. Actually, this is one thing which is this is the exact thing I spoke about during Eid Denver. Like, this is how AI can help us. Like, imagine right now NFT enthusiasts, the only way they can find about other NFT collection is they go to OpenSea or Uniswap portfolio or anywhere else, or even Twitter, and then they are seeing, okay, these NFTs are popular. Then they do their research and whatnot, and then they decide. This is such a, like, again, compare it to Web2. This is a broken UX, because in Web2, if I go to Amazon, Amazon is like, these are the products you might be interested in, you want to buy, right? So instead of going through millions of things, you are just limited to hundreds of things. Even that is personalized to you, and AI can do that. Not only that, like NFT, new NFT collection, it can also then be tweaked to respond to that. Hey, you want to buy this NFT collection? Right now the price is too high, like the lowest price happens in this period. So not only it is able to personalize to your personality or to whatever things you like, it can even help you pick those things out in the best possible time. And that is like just one of the things that AI can do. Like, again, I can go on and on about AI, but like one of the neatest thing that I saw in one of the hackathon, like ETH India hackathon, was that there was this project which basically built a MetaMask snap, which had push, I think, as well. But the gist of that snap was that whenever you are doing a transaction, right? The transaction, and this was something which scares me as well. Like whenever I'm interacting with a contract, the hex data doesn't really mean anything. And no matter how much we say that trust only what you can read, the thing is, if Web3 becomes, or Web3 has 1 billion users, you will not have time to read everything. So he used a very novel way to solve it. He basically put that function of a smart contract that you were interacting with it, and he basically ran it through ChatGPT. And what ChatGPT did was, it basically returned a human formatted way of what the function will do. And that was it was so elegant, right? And after that, you're going to a smart contract, you interact. Now there's a tab which explains like what this function does. And ChatGPT is doing that for you. There's no centralized entity that is doing that. Like ChatGPT is centralized at this point of time. But yeah, in essence, there's no person or there's no centralized database in a way that is doing that for you. And that basically solves a major problem of UX. Because if you think about it, we say Web3 is the future, and Web3 has innovated a ton. And I can say that Web2 and Web3, in terms of incentives, in terms of innovation, Web3 surpasses everything. But when you talk about UX, right, adoption only comes with UX. So imagine when we talk about a billion user, a million devs, that's fine. Developers, they basically like to solve a puzzle and they will dig around and around because that's their job. But when you are talking about users, users are like you and me. I like Web3, so I will keep on exploring. But more than that, it's my job to explore. But if someone says try this new Web2 app out, or go try driverless car, I will only try if the UX is improved. If I go to the driverless car and they say, okay, you have to be here and study this training module for 6 hours or this training guide, I am not going to do that because I don't have time. And that is what I think Web3 needs. Like Web3 needs to make sure that this 6 hours of learning, no matter whether it's seed phrase, no matter whether it's interacting with the contract, no matter even it's about interacting with the protocol, all of these things, they take at least 6 hours or more for a new user. And that needs to be eliminated. And I feel that AI infused with Web3 is the best way to eliminate most of it, along with account abstraction, of course. So, yeah.
That's a really, really interesting take. So for you, the interaction between Web3 and AI, one part of it is suggesting, dApps and, other applications within Web3 for the user based on their history. But I think probably the most impactful will be if AI can improve the UX and make Web3 easier to understand for the everyday person. Because I think right now that is probably the biggest barrier for usability. It's that, after like the on-ramps, after getting your money, like your fiat money to crypto, the next barrier there is, I don't get what I'm seeing, like I don't understand, any of this.
Right, right. I mean, just imagine, like I say that Web3 first user, one interaction is actually 10 actions because I like a protocol. I love it's giving me huge APR, or it has an NFT that I like, or I like to participate in governance, and I'm ready to participate. I'm all in for it. The next step, what do you have to do? You have to go install MetaMask. What is MetaMask? A normal Web3, a new Web3 user will not know. So they learn MetaMask, they install it. MetaMask basically says you need to write your seed phrase down and then distribute it to your friends. So now I'm learning about seed phrase. I write it, I do everything, I'm set up. Finally, I'm done. I can interact with the protocol. Not really. You need to go to a centralized exchange, do a on-off ramp, send it to your MetaMask. So now you learn centralized exchange, you do KYC, you do on and off ramp, and then you come. And hopefully, if you're lucky, then the protocol doesn't charge in its native token. Otherwise, you also have to do Uniswap course. So this is like 10 actions or 10 actions you took for one interaction. And that needs to go away.
Yeah, I agree. And, I think AI can help kind of translate some of those steps, like you were saying, like seeing reading a contract or understanding what you're signing when you're signing a transaction. Yeah, AI can help with that. But like all of those steps you mentioned, in the end, it comes down to developers making it easier. I don't think AI can kind of solve all of that, right?
Right. So AI can help not in the onboarding journey as much as it can help in the re-engagement journey and in the journey once you are onboarded. So as I said, like AI and I believe account abstraction, like what Ethereum is working towards, that will help significantly because if you abstract away the seed phrase and you are able to basically tell the user that you can create a social recovery account via smart contract wallet creation. That basically is a huge step. Even network abstraction, which I think InstaDApp did with their new wallet launch, that's an amazing step, right? So those type of things, they will ease the onboarding, wherein onboarding is as easy as how I go to Riverside, I enter my email, and that's about it, right? There's no any additional step. I think that will be done by account abstraction, and AI will come in to improve your life drastically. So the NFT discovery or personalization, which basically we love in Web 2, that will be driven by AI in Web 3.
It's really interesting to see how quickly AI started permeating everything. It feels like almost overnight, like almost, in a couple of months, we're seeing how AI can just improve, everyday tasks that we're doing. And I think we're just starting to explore how AI and Web3 can work together. But yeah, it just feels like it will be, I don't know if I'm being like too optimistic, but it just feels like these new technologies coming on board can just unleash this kind of golden age of tech, just these kind of peer-to-peer money protocols using AI to improve experience, to make everything faster, easier, more accessible. I don't know. Hopefully we'll see that.
Yeah. I mean, just think about it. Like, we already have innovation. We already have user economy or creator economy, which means that if a user comes to Web3, they anyway are not the product now. They basically, if they contribute something to the network, they earn it back. So those things are anyway 10x better than Web 2. What we lack is the UX part, which this account abstraction and AI will improve. And that will basically make it very seamless. So in the future, I don't think we even will talk about Web3 and Web 2, or people will know whether it's Web3 and Web 2. I think that's where we are headed. And I mean, to me, it's very exciting.
Yeah, same here. So, sorry, you're saying like we won't talk about Web 2 and Web 3 because it'll be the same thing, or because everyone will be on Web 3?
I mean both. So everyone will be on Web 3, but they will not realize they are on Web 3 unless they dig it further. So, for example, this video that we are doing, we don't realize, but there are at least 5 to 10 protocols that are interacting with each other. Like WebRTC is probably doing the video call, then a video call is getting recorded, and HTTP is because we are on website, and so on and so forth. But we don't realize that because everything is abstracted away, right? And I think that is where Web3 will be. So we will just be using something like we'll be using Uniswap, and we'll be like, oh, you want a bank, go to Uniswap. And people will not even have to figure out like how their banking is operating. They will just know that it's operating.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, and then talking about what's next for Push. So we talked about this AI development, and you mentioned this video chat as well. So if you wanna, can you explain a bit more about what this is?
Sure. So I mean, that's the thing. Like the next step for Push in terms of communication is to further open up the rails, or to further give developers a tool so that they can build a lot of cool things out, right? And that is where we are headed. So we are going to be launching Push Video very, very soon, which is basically a peer-to-peer decentralized wallet-to-wallet video call. which is a protocol so developers can build on top of it. So that's the next thing. We call it the era of decentralized social networking. Uh, yeah, or the marketing team calls it that, and I really like it, so I call it that as well. But yeah, that's coming, and that's alpha. Is going to come very soon. I'm not going to announce when, but yeah, it's coming.
Okay, so is that kind of like FaceTime? Like how?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right.
But for wallets.
Interesting. Really cool. Okay, that'll be exciting to test out. Okay, and then lastly, I'd love to just see your big picture, long term vision for Push. Like, if everything goes well and we have this Web3/AI infused internet and future, like, where do you see Push in 10 years?
Sure. I mean, again, it sounds very cliche when you say we are just getting started, but the reality is we are just getting started. So the vision of Push is very big. Like, it's a communication protocol of Web3. And we started with Ethereum because, again, the community, we owe it to them to be here. So that's why we started with Ethereum. And then we went to Polygon. And then we went to BNB, and we are on Polygon CKVM as well. But the vision is that we'll be everywhere, no matter if it's Ethereum blockchain, no matter it's EVM, it's non-EVM, no matter even if it's non-Ethereum like Bitcoin or Aptos or Solana, we will be there because communication is needed everywhere. So that's the vision that we are aiming for. The second vision is that wallets basically are handled by the user, and the user can have multiple wallets on multiple chains. And again, we should have UX in mind. So a user from any chain should be able to interact with the user of any other chain. So a user of Ethereum should be able to interact with the user of Bitcoin if they want to. Even a protocol of, let's say, Ethereum should be able to interact with the user of Solana if they want to, and vice versa. So that is again the next vision for Push, which is that a user can have multiple wallets on multiple chain, and they don't have to worry about that they will get their chats or they will get their messages or notifications or video call on just a specific address. It should be that they get it to a specific user, and that's what Push is working on. And yeah, the last one is that because these things are multi-chain or cross-chain, any crypto dApp, no matter, or any crypto wallet, no matter if it's on Ethereum, if it's on Aptos, if it's on Bitcoin, they should be able to show these things out to the user. The user should not come to Ethereum to check Ethereum related communication, or go to, if they are a user of Solana, let's say, then go to Solana to check that out. Everything should be seamless. And yeah, that's what Push is all about. In terms of UX, basically uplifting the entire UX for the user, being this middleware for the entire Web3, wherein communication, no matter it's video, no matter it's even this podcast that we are doing, no matter like in the future, even if it's a podcast or a Twitter space or a message or a token gated payment or a notification or something else as well, like the things that we are working on, some moonshot projects. All of this should be available to all the developers of Web3. And that's the basic vision of Push.
Very cool. Yeah, I love the big vision, this really interoperable, seamless communications platform. And then lastly, Harsh, how are you Defiant?
I believe that you need to challenge the status quo all the time. I do believe that people who basically take it upon themselves to change the world will usually do, or are the people who will usually be responsible of changing it. So how am I defined? I love to challenge whatever is there, and I love to keep on improving that. I don't know if that's the answer to the question, but yeah.
I love that answer. Yeah, it's like people who think they can change the world and want to will do it. Like they're the ones that will be able to do that. And yeah, I realize we're two kind of maybe at least like I'm non-native English speaker, so sometimes there can be miscommunications. But it's part of being in this global ecosystem. Anyways, Harsh, it was so great speaking. I really appreciate you taking the time. And yeah, really excited to see all the different developments that you guys are doing. I think it really is so necessary to have a messaging protocol that's decentralized and Web3 native. So thanks so much for coming to the podcast.
Thank you, Camila. I had really great fun.